heard that you indeed committing that this meeting will be a short one. And I'm very happy that that commitment has been done by yourself. Honorable members, this is our program.
I commit. I commit.
Is from 8:30, and always if we're late, it's about 9:30, and we do this because it's the caucus days of parties, which always starts at 10 o'clock. So we try as best as we could to finish as early as is possible, because our responsibility is to really deal with the programming of Parliament, and most of the issues that come to the programming committee would have been consulted.
Recording in progress.
Forum. Mr. Paso, can you share with us if there are any apologies?
Madam Speaker, good morning, honorable members. I've received no apology this morning. If any of my colleagues did, they will indicate. Thank you, madam.
Thank you very much. Tanya, do you have any apology?
Speaker, there is an apology for Mr. Horn. I couldn't hear if Secretary to the National Assembly did mention Mr. Horn, House Chairperson Horn.
Honorable Horn, I can see Honorable Chief Whip of the DA, Michalakis.
Morning, Madam Speaker. Just Honourable Nodada as well, please.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Nodada. Any other apology that we need to note?
Morning, Chief Whip. Just the apology of our Chief Whip as well, EFF. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Nolichung's apology is noted. Colleagues,
Good morning, Honorable Speaker. We also have an apology from the Chief Whip of the ANC. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Kabane. Honorable Ntuli's apology is noted. If there are no other apologies, colleagues, the agenda as well as documents have been circulated for your consideration. Can I get the mover for the draft agenda that has been circulated?
I move, Speaker. I move. Thank you. Ready?
Thank you very much, Honorable Reddy. Any second?
Seconded, Dagmore.
By Honorable Dagmore. Thank you. Our agenda has been adopted. We now move straight to the committee section report as well as bills.
Good morning, Honorable Speaker. Good morning, Honorable Members. Can I confirm whether the presentation is visible on screen?
It is visible. You can proceed.
Thank you so much, Speaker. We have very limited changes once again. We still have 18 executive members' bills, 14 private members' bills, 8 statutory appointments before committees, as well as 12 petitions before committees. Our first change in terms of our presentation is on slide 10. This slide deals with the Tobacco Products and Electronic Delivery Systems Control Bill. We would have reported previously that the consideration of the motion of desirability was going to take place on the 11th of March. However, that meeting was deferred. On slide 23, we have the National State Enterprises Bill. There has been updates, and I will immediately after this presentation flight the proposed schedule that we have just received this morning from that specific committee. Unfortunately, there was not sufficient time to include the content in the slide, but I will speak to it immediately after this presentation. On slide 28, we refer to the Parliament and Provincial Medical Aid Scheme Bill. Here, the briefing by Dr. TKS Letlape happened yesterday on the 18th of March. We then go to slide 33, where we have previously reported, but now we also can confirm that in terms of the Special Appropriation Bill, the public hearings took place on the 17th of March. On slide 35, we are dealing with other matters, specifically the fiscal framework. We also can confirm that the report was deliberated upon on the 17th of March and considered and adopted on the 18th of March 2026. Moving then to slide 40, our second last update. This pertains to the Aviation Safety Investigation Board. Here the report was adopted on the 10th of March. Slide 49 contains a petition. So this petition was already lodged on the 12th of November. It is a petition from Surplus People's Project, Legal Resources Center, Corruption Watch, and Support Center for Land Change to investigate the failures of farm workers' equity schemes in South Africa, and they demand accountability regarding 700 million of public funds spent in these schemes. So that petition is currently before the Portfolio Committee on Land Reform and Rural Development. As already stated, on the 12th of November, the committee received a briefing from the petitioners. Currently, the committee is embarking on a public involvement process, visiting schemes represented by the NGOs that submitted the petition on 15 March 2026. It concluded public involvement in the Western Cape. The next stages involve public involvement in the Eastern Cape, stakeholder engagement in Parliament, further engagement with ministers of land reform and rural development, as well as agriculture, and the adoption of the final report. So Chair and honorable members, those are the updates pertaining to this specific petition. I would then stop sharing this presentation and place on screen the program related to the bill in question, the National State Enterprises Bill. There has been a report that has duly been submitted to the House Chair on the progress made with regard to this bill. And as I stated, we then subsequently received this program. According to the program, the motion of desirability would formally be considered on Wednesday, the 1st of April, and that would be followed by various oral presentations up to 4 sessions between the period 21 April and 23 April. On the 6th of May, we note that the Department of Planning, Monitoring and Evaluation's formal response to those oral presentations and written submissions would be made. And Wednesday, the 13th of May, the briefing by the Parliamentary Legal Advisor following those oral presentations will be taking place. Moving on Wednesday, the 20th of May, there would be the commencement of the formal committee deliberations on the bill. Friday, 22 May, still continuing with deliberations up until, in fact, the 5th of June. Then actually it moves until the 12th of June. Then 17th June is estimated to be the date for the clause by clause consideration of the bill. And then the formal clause by clause adoption of that bill is estimated to take place on the 19th of June. We would note that it would be subject to approval if mini plenaries are scheduled. So the adoption of the committee reports and its processing of the entirety of the bill would also then coincide, if all goes according to plan, with the 19th of June. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you, honorable members, for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Can we now move to the bill section?
Good morning, Honorable Speaker and honorable members. Our report will start from the second slide. I need to indicate, Honorable Speaker, that currently there are 33 bills before NA committees, 19 of which are executive bills. The recent introduction of the Special Pensions Amendment Bill, B8 of 2026, a proposed Section 75 bill introduced by the Minister of Finance on Tuesday, 17 March. The bill was referred to the Standing Committee on Finance for further processing. And the private
Can you
members.
open your omelet? I'm gonna come down now, please.
Natalia, can you please mute?
Thank you. The private members' bills, Honorable Speaker, there are now 14. After the introduction of Honorable Cuthbert's bill, which is the Public Procurement Amendment Bill, that is B7 of 2026. The Honorable Member requested a first reading of the bill. Therefore, the bill is now on the order paper for first reading. We are moving to slide number 6. On slide number 6, those 3 bills that are indicated there, Honorable Speaker, we are reporting that they have been classified. The Special Appropriation Bill, it's classified as a Section 77. The Appropriation Bill classified as a Section 77 as well. And the Division of Revenue Bill classified as a Section 76 bill. The next reporting slide is slide number 8. On slide number 8, the NSOP Select Committee on Cooperative Governance and Public Administration reported on the South African National Water Resources Infrastructure Agency SOC Limited Amendment Bill, B13 of 2025. The bill reported yesterday, 18 March, and it is on the order paper for consideration. If the NSOP passes the bill, because they reported without amendments, it will be sent to the President for assent. Slide number 10, please. On slide number 10, we are reporting that the Bill's office has received the certification of another public procurement amendment bill. We must indicate that this bill will be Public Procurement Second Amendment Bill, certified by Honorable Kobe, and is currently being processed for introduction. That's all from the Bill's office, Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Advocate Mbata. Honorable members, we have received the reports, and I would like to thank the House Chair on committees for taking, giving us the detailed report on the public enterprise bill that they are dealing with in terms of the SOE bill. And if possible, we would appreciate, House Chairperson, if we can get the detailed presentation from all committees that have got legislation, stating exactly where they are with the legislation, how are they moving with it going forward, so that we can have an appreciation of the timelines that the committees are intending to take on the different legislation. Thank you very much. I recognize Honorable Mkhaliphi.
Good morning to you, Speaker, and good morning to the colleagues on the platform. Thanks for the report from the committee section and the Bills office. Madam Speaker, I just want to get a clarity on the processes of bills, because my member who serve on defense, he's telling me that they got an information that one of the challenges, one of the delays, why the defense bill, I think, is the B list, because they've done with an A list, is that they can't print the bill, which must be printed now, because Parliament does not have a capacity. They are outsourcing this printing to the printing company, which is not Parliament. So therefore is one of the delays that is taking place in Parliament. If you can get a clarity in that regard. If you remember, Madam Speaker, we raised this issue of the delays in terms of the bills to become the act. And you promised that they are going to come with a presentation to take us through, and how are they intending to deal with the delays and the time frame of the bills to become an act. But now we're getting the information that one of the issues is that the capacity in Parliament is not there. They're outsourcing this issue of the printing. So the printing company is not coming to the fore. If you can get that clarity, Madam Speaker, I'll appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mkhaliphi. On the presentation on the processing of the bills, the presentation was preliminary draft was given last week, just making a broad indication of the processes that the bill takes. We then had indicated that the team from legal services will come in 2 weeks' time, which will be next week, where they would then go step by step on the proposed, way in which we can truncate the bill. You even indicated in the last meeting that they must also do a desktop study based on your experience in Denmark, where they would sometimes take a month on legislation to process. So that matter will come back next week. But on the issue that you are raising, Honorable Member, on the printing, I will ask Mr. Kaso to respond after members have raised their question. Honorable Reddy, I'm not sure who's the Zoom user. Can Zoom user please name himself or herself?
Good morning, Speaker. It's Andile Mnatama from the MK Party. Thank you.
Can you please change your icon and put your name? Now let's have Vivian Reddy, Honorable Reddy.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker and my colleagues. Good morning to all of you. My apologies for Comrade Andile. Some of us are undercover, but I think you as well as Comrade Kalipi, you both covered the points I wanted to raise. You actually took the words out of my mouth. I do know that apart from Denmark, there are other countries where bills are actually processed within 7 days. So I think it's like unacceptable. And if the one legacy that this seventh administration can leave behind, it's to speed up the processing of bills. You can't have a situation, Honorable Speaker, where bills are sitting here from the previous terms and 2 terms prior. I do understand. I mean, if you look at what goes, if you take a bill from here, it goes to the NCOP, and NCOP decides that they also want to have public hearings. It delays the process even further. So it has to be a situation where the president must have some kind of power where bills can be processed in the quickest possible format. Otherwise, thank you very much, and thank you to the team that have been working so exceptionally hard in the Bills office to come up with these reports. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day. We can proceed. Thank you.
So you don't want Honorable Mkutama to speak? Honorable Mkutama?
Thank you, Speaker. No, I must concur with Honorable Reddy on the good work that the office is doing. We're being speedily assisted and with efficiency. But I do want to raise the issue of by when in the stage of development of bills do they get reported in this committee? Because as we speak, we know that MK Party has submitted about 10 bills and 2 of them are ripe to be discussed in committees. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Are there any other comments from other members? I will ask the teams to respond both from the bill section and committee, and then ask Mr. Klaso as well.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I will respond to Honorable Mnatama's question on when do we report on bills. We report on draft bills that have already reached the bills office, and we also report on bills that have already been introduced that are before committees. So on the draft bills, on the private members' draft bills that we have already received, they are on slide number 10. So we've indicated all the bills that we've received as the bills office, and legal services is working on them. So once we receive them, we indicate them on this slide. So what is not on this slide is what the members have not yet submitted to the bills office. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Mr. Klasu?
Confirm that there is a contract in place for the printing of bills. I just checked with the bills office. There have been no issues reported about delays. So we will deal with a specific case mentioned by Honorable Mkadipi. It is correct that we outsource that service because of the nature of the service while we are still developing capacity within. But we are not aware of any delays. So we'll deal with the specific matter raised by Honorable Mkadipi. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Klasu. We'll follow up on that matter. Honorable Khatama, is that a new hand or an old one?
It's a new hand, Honorable Speaker. No,
Okay, go ahead.
the report on the private members' bills cannot be correct. I have actually received a report of the bill submitted by MK Party from Advocate van der Merwe. So there must be a miscommunication in that office. I do suggest that the presenter must get in touch with Advocate van der Merwe so that she can give her the update on the private members' bills submitted by the MK Party. Thank you.
No, thank you very much, Honorable Khatama. Indeed, there will be a follow-up by the team within legal services to get an appreciation of the issue you are raising. Honorable Reddy?
Yeah. Honorable Speaker, the reason Honorable Nkatama is here is to raise specifically that issue. Now, if you'd recall, I had asked that we get a comprehensive report on all the bills at different stages that's coming before Parliament.
Honorable Reddy, can I, with all due respect, try and appeal to you that let's leave the matter of Honorable Kutama, who have responded specifically. On your matter, it's a matter that we assist with to ensure that we give the details. So I wouldn't want us to go back, but also I don't think it would be correct for parties to say members will come to present their case on the programming committee.
No, let me put that aside. I think the point that you raised at the start of this discussion actually covers us, where you indicated that all the bills that are outstanding at committees should be coming before us in a report form. I think that covers us to a large extent. If we can get that done as soon as possible, it will help. Thank
Honorable
you.
Reddy, thank you.
You're welcome.
Can we now move to the consideration of the parliamentary program? And if I can ask Honorable Dagmo just to deal with those issues that have been added on the agenda following the consultation in the Chief Whips Forum, because the program had been discussed and agreed to. There's just one or two issues that have been added. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Speaker, and greetings to all on the platform. Yes, just to say that in regard to next Thursday, the 19th of March, which is today, I think members are aware that after questions to the Deputy President, there will be 3 reports on ethics matters. That's new. I think colleagues must just be aware of that. And we will be going ahead with the urgent matter of national public importance in the name of Dr. Maimani. And then the other change, I'd like to refer to the 24th of March, Speaker. Just to say that there was a special request from the Transport Committee. You will see there on item number 5, which has to do with nominations for the Aviation Safety Investigation Board. It will mean a bit of a longer session, but we did want to prioritize appointments. You will see there's also the issue of the chairperson of the Board of National Lotteries. So that is an addition. It was referred to at the Chief Whip's Forum, But in engaging with the chair of cooperative governance, there's a very strong motivation as to why that report is needed, because it impacts on other legislation around local government that the House will be considering shortly. So I think those are really the only issues in the first term, Madam Speaker, that are new ones. If you would like, on the second term, there's just literally three matters that I would like to bring to members' attention. If you would like me to deal with the second term.
Yes, you can.
Okay, just in regard to the second term, we're all aware that on the 21st of April, that's when we will be dealing with the special appropriation bill and the division of revenue bill. So, but that is going to literally be the only session during a week of committees. Please note the training items. For instance, the 24th of April, that training item is actually listed there. An important topic on political structures and committees and parliamentary ethics. Then just to say that our president will be in the National Assembly on the 12th of May. Our deputy president will be in the National Assembly on the 21st of May. And also just to note, on the 2nd of June will actually be the presidency vote on vote one. I just thought I would mention that. And then I think one of the honourable members had raised concerns about the numbers of reports that we are able to deal with, Speaker. And just to say to members that when you look at the second term from the 4th of June, when we get back into the swing with plenaries, we really will be pushing reports, especially oversight visits, petitions, and so on. And that was a very strong point raised at the Chief Whips Forum. And we will begin to make sure that we program those. And then 23rd of June, that's the appropriation bill, first reading. And then just to say to members, constituency period 29 June to the 3rd of August. That's it, Speaker. I've tried to be as quick as possible. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Honourable Dagmo. Honourable Reddy.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker, and thank you, Honourable Dugmore. Honourable Speaker, I'd just like to get some clarity, please, if I may. Honourable Dugmore is the programming whip of the ANC. Am I right? He is not the programming official from Parliament.
He's the programming whip of Parliament.
Of Parliament? Or he's the programming whip of Parliament, not of the ANC?
Yes.
So he is an official then. He's not an MP, because he's not like Mr. Tasso or something.
The programming whip is a member of Parliament.
I see.
Yes.
Okay, I was just a bit confused because he would say, we will make sure we program this, we will do that, we will do that. And I'm not sure the we, is he referring to the ANC or is he referring to the Parliament? But thank you for the clarity. Thank you.
Thank you very much. After
I'm referring to you, Honourable Reddy.
Honourable Dagmo, can you please don't have a dialogue with Honourable Reddy? What
Yes,
it means
thank you,
is
Speaker.
the we is the collective of how as Parliament we would need to structure this. And obviously this programming committee, after consultation in the Chief Whips Forum, will then approve the program. I saw the hand of Honourable Michalakis.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, there were quite a few requests for first reading debates that have come to your office. I know from other parties, but we have one specifically on Honourable Cuthbert's bill. I would just like to inquire when those will be had. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Klaus will answer to that. Honourable Ntuli.
Good morning, Speaker, and good morning to all colleagues on the platform. My apology that I joined the meeting a bit late because we finish our own work in the early hours of the morning today in the ad hoc committee. So I just joined the meeting 10 minutes or so ago. But the reason why I'm raising my hand, the first one is that I think is to confirm that we're familiar with the program as presented, and I think we support it. The second one, Speaker, it's a matter that I think if it has not been raised in this meeting, I should convey to the programming committee, not for the debate. We had a long debate on it in the Chief Whips Forum, but it's our considered view that the matter must be conveyed to you, as I think the other presiding officers who attended our meeting will also do. There's been a concern about the extent to which our colleagues in the executive, ministers and deputy ministers, are answering questions in the National Assembly. And the concern emanates from the fact that, as you know, we now have this new rule that is applicable of interpellation, which is designed to ensure that the originator of the question has an opportunity to do an effective follow-up, which must also allow the minister or a member of the executive, from the president to all deputy ministers, to answer that question effectively. Now, we made an observation yesterday, Speaker, that in certain instances, we are not satisfied with the way in which the questions are answered. And of course, we do not want to tell the executive how they must respond to our questions, but we want them to answer our questions because they are accountable to us as Parliament. Now, we propose that, and I'm quite certain that Honorable Horns as well as Majos, who are in the meeting, will raise this matter with you and the rest of the presiding officers. We understand that you do not have a responsibility as presiding officers to say to the minister, we don't agree with your question, go back. But we wanted to appeal to you that in our own view, there are instances where it can be quite clear that the answers provided to the questions are inadequate. And we would like to see a scenario, or you as presiding officers, to discuss the approach that you may need to employ to ensure that sometimes we can avoid a quarrel that usually happen in the House, where a member would say, no, but Minister, you're not answering my question. We accept the fact that there are instances as well, because we come from different political parties where we may be using that opportunity opportunistically. But there's a consensus among us as whips of parties that there are instances where it's a glaring failure on the part of the executive to answer the question. And we would like the presiding officers to consider a situation where at some point, as a presiding officer, having noticed that there is a complete failure to respond to a question, you will intervene and say, sure, we can't tell you, Minister or Deputy Minister or President, how you must answer the question. But here is a clear-cut situation of a failure. I mean, we made an example that where we will ask a question about a particular task that the minister is responsible for. We get a response. The minister stand up because that was a written question. They received it in advance. Stand up and respond to it. You give a follow-up, which is completely different from what from the one where the answer has been provided. And the minister stand up and read the same response and say, no, I'm reading. And when it's quite clear that this is a complete different follow-up question, we would prefer a situation where, where a minister does not have answers on that day, at least the most decent thing to do is to stand up and say, I note your follow-up question. I don't think I'm in a position to adequately answer that question, and allow me to come back to you in writing or in the next sessions of answer questions and answers in the National Assembly. Now, I'm being detailed, Speaker, because the presiding officers also advise us about the complication of the role that you are playing, where we also do not want you to get entangled into the fight between a member of the executive and a non-member of the executive during the question and answer session. But it's a matter that I thought it's important for me to address it in this meeting. As I'm saying, appealing not for the debate, because we had an exhaustive discussion on it yesterday, but for you and your colleagues to reflect on this matter and see how best to handle it in a way that would allow the House to function optimally. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mtuli. Honorable Khalifi.
Well, Speaker, this debate is not a new debate, if you will recall as well. We have been raising this issue for many occasions, especially in the Chief Whip Forum, even here in this platform. But in the Chief Whip Forum, we said, let us stick to the principle, a principle that says that executives are accountable to Parliament. And one of the challenges that we come across all the time, when the member stood up and said, my question is not answered, what we experience is that the House chairs are protecting executives by saying that, but the minister have answered. So we have this lengthy discussion as per the explanation from the chief whips of the ANC now, to say that let us not protect executives, because if we do that, Madam Speaker, it means that this parliament will become toothless, and we are not going to be taken serious by the executive, of which, according to the constitution, we must do our work as members of parliament and they must account here. But unfortunately, Madam Speaker, it happens yesterday. People, members of parliament raise their hands complaining about a certain minister, and exactly what we have spoke about, including those house chair, which they were there in the chiefs forum, listening to us, listening to our discussion, and they did exactly that. So we concur, Madam Speaker, that please sit down and apply rules, take through your chairs, the house chairs of the parliament, in order not for them to continue to protect executives. The second matter that we spoke about, I thought my colleagues is going to raise it here, is on the programming of Parliament. Today we are dealing with the matter of the DPs, the questions to the DP. But immediately after that, we are going to deal with ethics. I think it's the ethics report, and the members questioned the declarations on the report, and it was also explained that no, normally there's no rule that prevent members of parliament to ask for declaration. And we made an example, Madam Speaker, that this parliament becomes a joke. We are going to engage in a question form with the deputy president. Immediately after that, the deputy president must stand up because we are going to reprimand him. So, I mean, we don't have an opportunity as members of parliament to say, but a few minutes ago, as a deputy president, you said you are going to ensure that there is a service delivery in this particular ward. And the councillor who is not servicing the community, or whoever who's supposed to service the community, you are going to act upon it as a deputy president. But now, in terms of the ethics yourself, now we have to deal with you as a parliament. So it was, the discussion was around that. And Madam Speaker, you are also going to give a guidance, because we feel that at some point we are being oppressed in terms of how to process issues, especially on these issues of ethics. I just wanted to add on that one, Madam Speaker. Thanks very much.
Honorable Reddy, followed by Honorable Dagmo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Let me appreciate the Chief Whip of the ANC for having raised this matter and the manner in which he has done it. Thank you very much, comrade. I just want to get into the issue of Parliament becoming a toothless body. In fact, it's not becoming, it's already like that. I would like you, Honorable Speaker, to maybe do some workshopping with your House chairs so that they can take a cue from you. While we want to respect them, they also need to respect us as members. I mean, yesterday, the chair of the meeting was very rude. I don't know whether she got up on the wrong side of the bed or what really happened there, but she was very rude, but she subsequently amended her ways. Now, the issue that Comrade Kalipi raises, now, I don't know whether this is an internal ANC issue, whether they want to embarrass the deputy president the way they're doing at the moment, because I don't know. I'm not commenting on that. But to bring the deputy president to come and answer questions, and then you bring an ethics report on the deputy president immediately after that, and then you don't allow for declarations immediately after that. To me, it's like trying to show the country that this is a useless deputy president. That's the way it looks. I think in future, we need to be made aware of this. Like you said, the programming whip is not this programming whip of ANC, but programming whip of Parliament. Maybe he needs to have a detailed look at such things and just see the optics of having the deputy president come answer questions and thereafter he's hauled before the coals because of a transgression in terms of ethics. Chair, I really believe, and we discussed this at the Chief Whip's Forum, and the Chief Whip of the ANC has allowed me to make a presentation, which I will be doing by the end of this week, on how we can make Parliament more alive again. Make it robust, where we're not just there sitting like statues, preparing speeches, reading speeches. That's not how Parliament was supposed to be. So it needs to be a bit more robust, and let's hope that we can change that. Thank you so much, Honourable Speaker, for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Honourable.
Thank you, Speaker. Just a quick point in regard to the issue of declarations after ethics reports. The matter was discussed, and it was agreed that the convention which is developed, i.e., not to have declarations after ethics committee reports, because those reports have actually made conclusive findings. That's a matter that can be further discussed at the rules committee. So I just wanted to inform the programming committee about that particular discussion. And I'm sure, Speaker, you will respond to the issues of the timing of these ethics reports. Thanks.
Okay, I'll ask Mr. Koso to respond on the issues of the first reading.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honourable members, we currently have 3 bills, private members' bills, public procurement amendment bill by Honourable Cuthbert, I think. And then we have a Constitution 23rd Amendment Bill and Electoral Laws Amendment Bill, both coming from Action SA. What has happened before is that first reading debates were held in mini plenaries. And this is a matter that we wish to process with the Chief Whips Forum. Firstly, that. Secondly, just the procedure, because this Parliament has not had first reading debates. So some members, if not most members, may not be familiar with the procedure on first reading debates. So with the permission of the chair of the Chief Whips Forum, we would want to discuss the matter next week at the Chief Whips Forum. And then slots can be created when we come back from the recess beginning of May. If we decide to do mini plenaries, of course, it will go into mini plenary sessions. If we decide full plenary, that will be the arrangement. So, Madam Speaker, that is our response on the first reading debates. Otherwise, we are aware of the request. And I did have a preliminary discussion with the Chief Whip of the largest party on the matter. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kaso, on the response on that matter. And I just want to appreciate what the Chief Whip from the largest party have raised, as well as other members, in respect of the quality of responses from the members of the executive. This matter has been raised before, and there has been deliberations. There have been actions taken by the Speaker's office to engage with the leader of government business on this matter. Yes, there are some inconsistencies we need to appreciate that still continues, where other ministers have really tried to make sure that they respond to the questions effectively, while there has been lapses where some other ministers have not. And we did receive a report yesterday from the House chairpersons who participate in the Chief Whips Forum, and indeed we are taking that matter up, and we would also address it in the Assembly itself, to just once again remind honorable members of the executive of the obligation they have in terms of their accountability to Parliament. And with respect to the issues of ethics, and I think it's important for us as honorable members to also remind ourselves of our rules. As our rule stands at the moment, there is no declaration provided for after a report on ethics have been tabled. And if members want a new arrangement, they have to actually go back to the rules committee so that we can really look at our rules and see where we need to firm up, where there's a need to firm up. And also you would recall that these matters of ethics are matters that have actually been in the pipeline from last year. And one of the obligations is that a member must be present in the House when the report that relates to him or her will be tabled in the House. And there's usually consultations to make sure that the members are available in the House for that. And I don't want to enter on what Honorable Reddy raised, because as the Speaker's office, we don't enter into the politicization of matters that comes to the House. Our office has to act as impartial as is possible to make sure that the Speaker's office is not found wanting in meddling on the politics either of parties, internally or externally. So, as impartial as is possible, that's how we act. So, Honorable Reddy, I think we need to disabuse ourselves of that the reason for this report to be tabled has any political connotation. Is the responsibility of the Parliament and of the Speaker in particular to make sure that the reports of the ethics are tabled in the House, because we also run a risk where such reports pile up for a long time that members would actually challenge the Speaker's office on why such reports have not been tabled and have not been acted to by the Speaker's office. So I just thought it's important to clarify those matters. Thank you very much, honorable members. We'll now go to the consideration of our minutes, which were circulated to all of you. And if I can get a member, if there are any questions for clarity on the minutes. Honorable Reddy, you are on the minutes.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I've been through the minutes and the minutes are in order. I'm happy to move for the adoption of the minutes. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Is there any seconder? Honorable
Second the adoption, Speaker. Second the adoption.
Thank you very much. Are there any matters arising, Mr. Clausen?
Honorable Speaker, the only matter arising is due next week, which has to do with the timeframes for processing of legislation and guidelines for prioritization of bills. Yes, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Mr. Clausen. Honorable Nkwango?
Speaker, not necessarily a matter arising, but I wish to thank you for your leadership. Remember last week during the meeting, we requested that you reconsider the Parliament's initial decision on the Mr. Likota matter. Indeed, Parliament did send a delegation to his funeral. Thank you ever so much for that, for your leadership.
Thank you very much. And Honorable Kalipi?
Thanks, Speaker. The matter arising, which we need to get a clarity on, is the issue of the committee, correctional and the Correctional Service Committee, Madam Speaker, is not sitting even today.
Mr. Clausen?
Madam Speaker, I do not have information on that, but we will follow up. If the head of committees is able to assist Ms. Borchert, maybe she may be allowed to indicate, but I did not get prior indication that there were issues there. Thank you.
Ms. Borchert, do you have any maybe understanding of why that committee is still not meeting, and also House Chair?
Good morning once again, Honorable Speaker and chairpersons, members. The committee is currently undertaking a study tour, but the matter will be reported on in the next program committee. But the committee is active, even though it is not meeting this week. It is currently on a study tour in the UK.
Okay. Thank you
Speaker,
very much.
can I come back?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not sure if we're talking about the same committee. I'm talking about the, not the Correctional Service, Madam Speaker. The Justice, yes, there's a Justice and Constitutional Committee, I think, Madam Speaker.
Okay.
It has not said since the other committee.
All right, sis.
Thanks.
Let me just explain. Sorry, I think when you said correctional services, that's why Honorable, rather Ms. Borchert was responding to that. Following the issue that was raised in the programming committee last week, we did, myself and the Secretary of the National Assembly held a meeting with the chairperson. And I think what the chairperson has explained requires how Parliament gives support to ad hoc committees as well as portfolio committees where some of the members have been brought in. One of the issues with respect to that committee, which was shared by the chairperson, was that it's not just him. There are other members of that committee whose parties had actually recommended them to serve on the ad hoc committee. Secondly, the support staff of the Justice Committee were also seconded to work with the ad hoc committee. And we've agreed that that's the issue that as Parliament also we should have looked in carefully such that it does not affect the portfolio committee negatively. So I just want to report here that that matter was raised and the committee will be given adequate time to actually ensure that they take up the matters that might have been delayed as a result of its chairperson and members of that committee serving on the ad hoc committee. Honorable Reddy?
Speaker, I don't want to delay the meeting, but I just wanted to make one point, not for debate. It's an issue of virtual committee meetings. I think having a virtual meeting and the chair of chairs that's present needs to take note of this should be more the exception than the rule, because we don't have issues of COVID now. We got the dome that's there. So I don't see the reason why many of the portfolio committees are going onto a virtual platform, especially when you have a plenary in the afternoon when all members must be in the house, and then you have a virtual in the morning. So I think the chair of chairs needs to make a note of that and ensure that the virtual meetings are done only in exceptional circumstances. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Nkwango.
Speaker, can the discretion be given to committees and the committee chairs themselves on this matter? Because there are issues where committees have to correlate. We have a lot of committees. For example, now we've created a new portfolio committee over the presidency. The Parliament, the number of members of Parliament has not increased because we're increasing the number of committees. And if we're not going to allow, the chairs and other people who run the institution to consider those practicalities, we're going to find it difficult for those committees to correlate. It's easier at times to do some of the work virtually than to do it physically. But can that discretion be given to those who are in charge of committees and the committee members themselves instead of making a blanket rule? Thank you.
Thank you, House Chairperson.
Speaker, and good morning, colleagues. Now I've been covered by the Honorable Kwankwa, but I would also would like to request the Honorable Reddy to give me a list of these committees that are only meeting virtually, so that I can deal with the specifics. It is informed also by the agenda of the committee. And as the Honorable Kwankwa said, in line with the relevant rule of the National Assembly, is that committees determine their own programs. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, Honorable Reddy, do you want to come back?
Honorable Speaker, I did say I don't want to debate on this, but I don't think it's a good enough reason to say you want to have a virtual meeting because it's the way you're going to correct. Because I can tell you how virtual meetings can actually be, where people can actually create a profile and be there, but not actually be on the meeting. So a physical meeting is actually where members are engaging each other. You know who they are talking to each other. So I don't want to enter into that debate. The reasons, as the chair of chairs stated, should be reasons like it's not possible to get some of your invitees to come over, those types of reasons, not because you want to correct, because as members of parliament, we are being paid to attend meetings physically. The issue of virtual meetings only came about because of the COVID period. Now we seem to be taking advantage of that situation, and we want to go into this virtual, and to say that it is because of correcting. It simply means that you're saying that members are not prepared to come physically to a meeting. I think we must avoid that. The whole word is now moving away.
Okay, Honorable
Thank you. Thank you. I think I've made my point.
Your point effectively. Honorable Nkwango, Honorable Kalipi, Honorable Hlangene.
Speaker, I don't know why we are allowing a debate on the matter. We hold a different view. that there are various reasons why, even for smaller parties, a virtual meeting would be preferable in some instances. It makes it practically possible for us to attend as many meetings as we possibly can, right, due to numbers. But also, as Honorable Frolik has said, it's up to the discretion of that committee to decide on its program. Thirdly, I will not be running. We can't be expected to run caucuses of other parties that don't know how to manage their members. My members are, whether it's virtual or physical, if they have to attend, they're there. And it's the responsibility of the whips. That's why we're paid, to make sure that we manage our members so that they do not create profiles to attend meetings when in fact they're absent. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Kalipi.
No, thanks very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the issue of virtual was long raised when we started in 2024. I agree with Honorable Reddy. We said COVID is gone. And as a result, we push for the dome in order for all members of parliament to be under one roof. We even said even workers are open, are going to work. So there's no need for members of parliament to meet virtually. I take the point that says let us just give the House Chair the list of those committees who are meeting in virtual. Because if you are going to say it depends on the committee, they just vote and then they outvote you. Even if you come with a very mature discussion to say, but it's uncalled for. If I can make an example in my committee, Madam Speaker, a COCTA, we're dealing with one of the municipality who are still meeting in virtual, and they are suppressing other members who hold a different view on virtual. And there's a lot of complaint in terms of service delivery in that particular municipality. And we call the executive of that municipality to say, come and explain to us to understand why are you meeting virtually while people don't have anything to do in terms of talking about the service delivery in that particular municipality. So therefore, Madam Speaker, it goes back to the discussion that we raised earlier on. Let us not render this parliament useless. This parliament must work for the people. Okay, in some of the circumstances, we can allow that, but not that the committee must just hold their meetings virtual. It's uncalled for, Madam Speaker. Thanks very much.
Honorable Tlangwini.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Speaker, I think we need to also maybe perhaps get a full breakdown as to what is the cost to Parliament on these visual platforms, our meetings, because I did even raise and send offline, having a discussion with the House Chair regarding this matter last week already to say, why are we still continuing with having online meetings and at such magnitude? And while there are committee rooms standing here open that can be used for members of parliament to have their meetings in these committee rooms, because at many a times there's committee rooms here that are standing vacant, and it's not an issue of space. So if it's an issue of smaller parties, then smaller parties will unfortunately have to work harder comes in the next elections. But we ought to bring Parliament back to our normality, to let it run, and cut some of this cost to Parliament, and we ought to cut it and use the committee rooms that is available to Parliament. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, honorable members. I've noted the various issues that have been raised on this matter, which Honorable Reddy was saying he's raising it not for debate, but there was no way, obviously, that a matter such as this, members would not engage with it. And I would appreciate that the House Chair is here. He's had the concerns raised, and I'm sure in engaging with the various committees on these matters, we'll have to come up with an amicable position, because as much as the virtual sittings started during COVID, it is a tool that can be used given whatever the circumstances. So I think in looking at that matter, there should also be that balancing that there may be instances where virtual sittings are necessary. Honorable Reddy, I hope we've moved from that.
Yeah. Just a final point. I'm glad that Honorable Frolic will be looking into this. I just want to state that water and sanitation has not had a physical meeting. It's only been virtual. And I've
Honorable
visited some
Reddy,
other committees as well. And there's
Honorable
really
Reddy,
no justification. Sorry, Chief
Honorable
Speaker.
Reddy,
Yes.
please. Honorable Frolic said, can you please give him a list? He didn't mean in this meeting. Now we are trying to make examples. Honorable Reddy requested that send him the list so that he can follow up. You have committed that you will be short at this meeting. And I think let's do that now. You've made the point. Follow up with the detail with Honorable Frolic. Thank you. This brings us to an end of our meeting. Thank you very much, honorable members.
Thank
Good
you,
luck with your
Speaker.
caucuses.
Thank you.
Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Speaker.